Good morning, good afternoon. I got you for the notes. I'm gonna pass these out really quick, just so it can be something kind of review. I think for training, everybody was told that you want to take about 30 minutes daily each day to kind of reflect on everything, so you can kind of keep it sharp, and that way you can stay consistent in terms of what you do. They say some of the greats in any industry, if they take if you want to be great in any industry, all you need to do is just take a few moments each day, like 20 to 30 minutes, and perfect on your craft, right? So today, the overall goal for today is just to take one aspect of our business and like laser focus in on it to make us better, right? Because we probably all can agree we want to be better in some aspects, right? Raise your hand if you don't want to be better, right? So nobody would raise their hand and say they don't want to be better. So we all want to be better. And so let's go over today. What we're going to do is just talk about what makes a solid lead inside of our industry. Okay. And so there's a couple of pillars that kind of deal with that. All right, perfect. So obviously we're going to talk about the welcome, why quality leads matter. We're going to talk about the three pillars of the solid lead. We're going to talk about three phrases, like key phrases, smoke signals, because we've all had homeowners give us smoke signals, right? They tell us no and they're not interested, but yet you're like, for real? And next thing you know, you're sitting down having coffee with them, right? We've all had that. So we're going to talk about those smoke signals, and then we're going to put it all together with the I.S.M.A.L, and then we're going to do some practice rounds. Okay? That's the overall goal. The overall goal today is just to help advance what you're already doing, not to combat anything you've learned, but only add to. Okay. So that's the overall goal for today. So let's kind of dive into it. So, why quality leads matter? Okay. If you think about your goal throughout the course of the day, for each 8 people that you speak to, you want to generate at least one lead. Am I correct? When you think about it, you at least want to generate at least one lead. Most of us, truthfully, be honest, you want to talk to every 4 people and get one lead. Right? Right? Yeah. So you want to do that. You want to maximize your opportunity while you're out there. And so when you're out there, you're talking, your goal obviously is to speak to the homeowners and turn those homeowners into leads. You want to make sure that those homeowners are aware of the 90-minute consultation, right? You don't lead off with the 90 minutes. You don't go out there and say, hey, what's going on? My name's Michael. It's going to be a 90-minute consultation. You ready for tomorrow? Right? Right? You don't want to do that, Mike. Like I tried that one time. That actually worked. But for the most part, that's not how you want to go in the game, right? You want to ease into it. And then in the mix of that, you want to make sure that you have all the decision makers. So that question of asking, hey, are we going to have everyone? Asking that question 2 to 3 times, but making sure it's different ways you phrase it. That's important too, right? So we want to make sure we have all the decision makers there, because if we don't have all the decision makers there, can the salesman close? Nope. No. He can't close. And then you get upset at Mr. Mike. You look at him with a little snarl. You know what I mean? Like that look you get when you look at gas prices. That's how you look at him. I don't want you looking at him like that, right? So you want to make sure that when you're there, you have all of these people there. Okay. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about it a little bit more. Let's break it down. There are 3 pillars to create this solid lead that we're talking about. The first pillar is the person having a genuine interest. Okay. Now, that doesn't mean they have to come out of the house saying, oh my goodness, it's you, Vlad. I've been waiting for windows all day. Please give them to me. That doesn't mean that, right? Sometimes homeowners going to act, cool. Like, I don't need no windows. I'm good. Oh, okay. So you good. Yeah, I'm good. So you as a homeowner, you never thought about making it? Nah, man, I never thought about changing my windows. Like never, ever? Never. Not even casually thought about it, right? So sometimes you can ask that homeowner and then you spend you never thought about it? Okay, cool. Well, some homeowners in this area, they've been thinking about it. Or when hurricane season, I know you don't like putting up the shutters then. Nah, man, I don't. So you've thought about it in some aspect. Yeah, I guess you're right. But this is one area, right? The genuine interest. The next thing is you want the decision makers. We talked about this a little bit, the decision makers, right? You want everyone there. Why would you want everybody there if it's a consultation? Everybody in that household who's the decision maker be involved. Right. Right. There's some legal ramifications. You want everybody, who involved, who lives in the household, who might have an opinion, right? Have you ever bought a pair of shoes and then someone told you right afterwards that those shoes are ugly and you question it because you value their opinion? Uh-huh. Talk to me.
There's a few reasons why all decision makers must be present.
Mhm.
Number one, because it's Florida state law
Mhm.
for married couples
Mhm.
to be there.
Mhm.
It doesn't matter whose name is on the house.
Mhm.
Number
Married couple.
two,
Yeah.
there's some programs that they may not be eligible for if all decision makers are not there. Number three, we need all decision makers for when it's time for the contract to be signed. And number four, we could sell something to someone, and then the other decision maker steps in and say, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! Why'd you sign that?" And it get canceled.
Mhm.
So we want everyone there, and we want everybody to be on the same page.
No, that's good. That's good. Um, I'm gonna pass this around just for audio, make sure it's clear when we record. So that's good. So those are some key points. You know how to turn it off, right? Turn the mic off on the side. Yeah, when it's not, it should go red. Red. Okay, perfect. So you want all the decision makers there, right? Everyone weighs in on the decision, right? So that means dogs, chickens, cats, ducks. And I usually laugh with the homeowners. This is a great way to kind of make it fun. Like, who else you want here? I see you got your dog here. The dog's gonna be here. Who else is gonna be here? You got a pet rock around here? So think about it. When you're talking to the homeowner, you get a chance to lighten the mood. Yes, we want everybody here for all of those reasons, but we're not just gonna blatantly say, "Hey, man, we need all of them here because of this, because of that, because of that." Yeah, you're not gonna do that, right? That's gonna scare them off, right? Mr. Howard, you gonna be like, "Man, come on, man. You already know, man. I know how it is having the old lady. You want to get the old lady here, cause she gonna have some questions, man. And she started asking questions you can't answer. You know how that go. Yeah, man, you right. So, man, she'll be here. Boom. So now you set it up with her as well. 90-minute consultation. We all agree if it's going to sell, and Mr. Mike will tell you, if it's going to sell, if your lead is going to sell, it could potentially take 3 hours. Okay. So we want to make sure we got everybody there and they agreed upon that time. We don't want them to have any close appointments behind it. So as you're talking to them, yes, we get the next day, figure out what their schedule is for the rest of that day. Because if you find someone that says, "Yeah, Miss, yeah, Howard, man, you know what I'm saying? I definitely want somebody to come by. And they can come by tomorrow. If they come by tomorrow, man, we can get it all taken care of." And then you never ask what's going on tomorrow, what you got planned. And then you set it up for a 10 a.m. and they got something to do at 12. You get me? So as soon as 11 o'clock come, everybody know about this thing called South Florida traffic, right? It's crazy. Nobody likes it. Next thing you know, 11 o'clock hit, they're going to start looking at their watch and say, "Okay, Mr. Window and Door Man, Mr. Roof Guy, I'm going to need you to go because I got somewhere to be." And we don't want that because then you mess with your money. And you don't like to mess with your money, right? Don't like to mess with it at all. Okay. So any outlier questions in this spot here? Oh, number two, all decision makers present. Okay. So pillars, and we're going to dive into these pillars a little bit more. So genuine interest, all decision makers present, and committed. All right. Can commit to the 90 minutes. So when they do have a genuine interest, another quick thing as well. If they're talking about a roof and they got a brand new roof and they say, "Hey, I want a quote for a roof," just to see what the metal price is, don't sign them up. Okay, don't sign them up. Figure out if they have a leak in that roof. Figure out if their roof is super old. But if that roof look brand new and they tell you, "I just got this roof like a year or two ago, like 5 years ago, and it's relatively new," you got to figure out what is the pain point. Okay, figure out what the pain point is before you sign them up for a roof. Mr. J. That's a question.
They tell me the roof 13 years and they just want the price.
13 years, I'm going to do some digging. I'm going to ask, are they experiencing any leaks, any damages? I'm going to start to take on that consultative approach because I'm at the door already as a consult. I'm not the sales guy. I'm just simply generating a lead, let you know we're in the area. So I'm going to ask you, sir, how long, what's going on with your roof? And then I'm going to shut up. I'm not going to say, hey, man, what's going on with your roof, man? Because you got this going, that going, this going, that going. I'm not going to feed them information at that point. I'm just say, hey, man, what's going on with your roof? Tell me. And then I'm gonna find myself a nice little area to sit down and chill. Because once I do this, I look comfortable, right? Because I'm comfortable now. This person is comfortable. So what's going on with the roof? Tell me.
It's 13, man. Nothing really major going on with it. Just 13. I know it's around that time. It's a shingle roof.
Okay, shingle roof. Okay. Now, has your insurance company sent you a letter saying it's time to change it?
No. Actually,
Are
somebody
you
came out
noticing
like a
any
year.
damages or anything like that?
No. Someone came out actually a year. I just had my inspection. They said I'm good for like another 5 years actually.
Another 5 years. Okay. And so you haven't had nothing going on with it?
No, I just want to look at the metal roof.
Okay. Now, that's if he's absolute like, hey, I want to change my roof, but he's from his tonality and what he's saying, I just want to look at the price. There's not a why. I need some type of why or heartfelt. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna expand that pain and figure out what the pain point is. I'm not just always just gonna sign him up because you'll sign him up and he'll cancel. He's like, I don't need another roof. I got 5 more. I got 5 more years in it, but I need to figure out the reason. Does that make sense? Because you can sign up people like that, but you want to figure out some type of pain point.
So would it be okay? So would it be okay to ask them why are they interested in a metal roof?
Yeah. Why are you interested? And then from that, you got to listen because that's going to tell you everything on how to sell them. All right. Or get them to the point to where they're excited for that rep to come to the house. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead.
I was paying attention, but in between what Sandra was saying, can you like break it down, just explain it to me more? Because you said that the homeowner has to be like more interested, not just about the price though. Like,
Yeah. So in this situation, if the homeowner tells you, yeah, I just want to look at the price of it, and they're not giving you a, hey, I have this pain point or
pain
this
point, yeah.
issue that's going on,
Mhm.
I need to figure out why he wants to know about the roof. Yeah, right? So in that, I'm going to say, hey, what's going on with your roof? Right? What's going on with your roof? I'm going to say, what issues are you having? What makes you want to look into a metal roof? Okay? I'm deepening that conversation because we can keep the conversation surface level, but the deeper you get with that conversation, the more rapport you get a chance to build.
What if they say they want the metal roof because their neighbor got the metal roof?
Mm-hmm.
They want to be like Betty. Betty got a
Okay.
metal roof. Why can't I have a metal roof?
No, that's absolutely fine. We can sign up some of those, but the core thought of it is not signing up somebody that wants to kick the tire. Like I don't care. I'm not gonna change out my roof for 6 years anyway. Who cares? I'll take a look.
Because homeowners like to copy each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you absolutely can do that. Yeah, you can do that, and we'll actually get into that a little bit as we go. But that's all good for this slide here. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. All right. So the genuine interest, and we covered a little bit of this. No problem. But we'll skim over it, right? So that means I've thought about making the improvement. Okay. I have plans to do it in the future or someday, the near future or someday. Okay. So when you hear them say, oh, I thought about it. Okay, cool. No problem. Oh, so you thought about it. A lot of people thought about it. What's your time frame for a project like this? When are you thinking about doing it? A year, 2 months. Year, 2 months. That's fine. And so when you hear them, one of the biggest keys is as that person talks to you, don't start thinking about the next thing you're going to say. Please actively listen to what they're saying because they're going to tell you exactly what you need to move on with that lead in that conversation. Does that make sense? So, They see the need. Hey, they have a leaky roof. They have older windows, high bills. Their bills are high. All of those are things that can sign that person up for the windows, for the roof. Okay, and they admit um, when they ask the right way. Right? They admit it. When you ask it the right way, they admit it. Homeowners, they'll come out and you know what, man, I've been playing around. I need to stop lying to myself, because the same ones that you have a conversation with, it takes a person about 7 times for a buying decision, and most of the times you're not the only person that has came to their door before. So you might be the seventh person to where they say, man, if somebody else knocks on my door for windows, I'm just going to go ahead and get a quote, or I'm going to go ahead and just go on and buy it. Right? So think that too when you go in there. All right. Here's some phrases um, that phrases that signal interest. Right? We've been talking about that. So you've heard that before, right? Yeah, we've been talking about it. We've been talking about it. All right. Mm, no, you can write it in your notes. Okay. Yeah, our windows are really old. Yeah, these are the original windows, right? These are your original windows. We meant to do that last year. How many times you heard that? Man, we're gonna get around to it. At some point we're gonna get these windows. At some point we're gonna do it. So when you see that, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I've heard. Yeah, a lot of people have been talking about, doing it. That's the reason why we're here. A lot of people getting the information for the future. These ain't in your notes. You're gonna have to write this down. Yeah, it ain't in your notes. I tried to keep it simple so you didn't have to do too much writing, but I couldn't give you everything, right? So my neighbor just did that. Mike, you were talking about that with the Jones effect. Okay. How much does something like this cost, right? Well, it just kind of depends. And then a lot of times homeowners want to get you this area here for a trap. They want to get the number, think about the number in their head, and either tell you yay or nay right then and there. You get what I'm saying? So how you handle this question here, when it says how much does the window or something like that cost? It's a simple, hey man, it just depends. We have everything from the Mercedes of windows to the Toyotas of windows. So it depends on your price category. It depends on what you're looking for.
So,
1 second. Okay. Make sure the mic's on. Okay, cool.
so when they say I don't got the money for that, is that the same?
I don't have the money for that. It's not the same, but I want to know why they don't have the money. Okay. So in that, when a person says, "Hey man, I don't have the money for that," oh, okay, cool. So let me ask then: have you already gotten a quote? A simple question like that, because you want to understand why they give you a blanket no. You want to understand why they gave you a blanket no, because one of the things we can't do is take their no for a real answer. Okay. How many of us ever walked? Raise your hands. How many of us ever walked into a department store and someone said, "Can I help you?" and you said, "No, I'm good." Right? Did you really need help? Probably. Yeah. You walked in looking for something. You could probably save a couple of seconds or a minute or two, especially if you go to one of these Walmarts and you don't know where something is and it's a different part of town, right? So, but people naturally won't come off and tell you exactly. They're gonna give you a smoke signal, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes. Okay. We need to do need to do something about the roof. So sometimes homeowners, yeah. So sometimes homeowners are gonna tell you, yeah, we need to do something about the roof, and then you're gonna like, okay, what's going on with the roof? Talk to me, right? That's where you sink your heels in and you don't move because you already got someone right there. Okay, that's a person that has an interest. Oh man, we're gonna do something with the roof. Oh, what you plan on doing with the roof? Then talk to me, and you just listen. Okay, so that's a good move there. Any questions? Any thoughts from figuring out the general interest? All right. Okay. Yeah. If you will, so he can. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. J. All right. Cool. Second pillar. Right. We said the general interest is one pillar in building a solid lead. The second one is having all decision makers there. Right. You want both houses at the same time, both spouses at the same time. The child or co-owners can be present. Right. Think about this. For the people who we run into sometime that are older, let's say get into like that 65 or more range, a lot of times they might have grown adult kids. Okay. And you want those grown adult kids to be there because if they're going to make a decision for, let's say, the windows or the roofs or anything like that, it's going to be important. You get me, Vlad? It's going to be important to have those people there, right? Why? Because one, we're a family oriented company, right? They might have a perspective that their parents don't have. And a lot of times the parents are going to lean on those kids to be able to make a decision like that, right? So that's very important. So if you do yourself a favor by asking the question outside of yourself, any grown kids or whatever who might want to be here might ask questions. Well, I do have a kid. Okay, cool. Where they live? Right? I want to know they live in Tampa, Georgia, Texas. Why? Because that's going to let me know if they're able to be here. Now, if they're right down the street, hey, do you think they can be here tomorrow? No, they're usually here on Sundays. Sundays? Okay, well, let's make the consultation on Sunday. If that's the time that they're going to be there. Does that make sense? They don't mean if the person is saying, hey, I want the next day, sign me up for tomorrow, but you figure out they have a kid, be okay to say, hey, let me just make a suggestion for you because I'm consulting and I'm trying to help you. Let me just say, hey, let's meet on Sunday. That way your kids will be there, you cook good food, and then my representative will be there. Now that homeowner sees you as a person that's not just trying to get money from them. Does that make sense? Cool. All right. You lock the time with both names. That's a biggie, right? You want to get in this all decision makers, get the husband name, get the wife's name. If the husband's there, the wife's not there, say, hey, for greeting purposes, what's the wife's name? Oh, Melissa. Oh, great, cool, Melissa. Oh, did you spell that with 2 L's or one? Oh man, you can't spell that with 1 L. Okay, cool. I just asked, man. People be doing crazy names with it, and now you got the customer engaged a little bit more. Does that make sense? So that's what you want to do. Okay, and then your closing rate goes up. You got both decision makers there. Your closing rate goes up. For me, if I'm signing up a lead, I want to have that bad boy demo or sale. I don't need a one-legger. I don't need a no-show. I don't need any of that foolishness. I want either it demoing or sale. How did that happen? I make sure my leads are quality. Does that make sense? From here's some one-leggers or weak leads. Here's what weak leads look like, or here's what it sounds like. Okay, this is big. Uh, my husband isn't here, but I'm interested. My husband won't be here, but I'll sit down and talk. Okay. We kind of want both of y'all here. Is there a way you can kind of like cook some steak or something to make them there? All right. You set the time without asking about the spouse. This right here comes when we're rushing. When it's late at night, we ain't got no leads today, and we're sitting there. We find somebody finally say yes, right? And we get excited. They say, yeah, I'm thinking about windows. Okay, cool, no problem at all. You want the windows, the door tomorrow? What, 6 o'clock? Okay, cool, that's good. All right, sweet. 1 second, I'm gonna put you on the phone with confirmation. And next thing you know, you pass it over to confirmation conversation and say, hey, what's this person's name? Oh, what's your name again? Right? Or what's your spouse name? Oh, my bad. You speak English or Spanish? English? Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, English or Spanish. My bad. Hold on 1 second. What you want? Again, windows or roof? Do you see that? We've all been there, right? And we'll be honest, we've all been there. Especially when you're knocking the houses and they're side by side. You get to the house, you knock on the door, and you don't even look up and see what the roof look like. Right? Okay. Um, Specialty show ups, decisions gets delayed, right? All that stuff happens when you have one leggers, right? Um, it affects your overall performance review, right? We say we're good, but yet you got a bunch. You can get 15 next days in the course of a week, but if 10 of those next days are one leggers, that's a problem, right? You can't say I'm writing all the leads, and then you have 15 leads and you got 5 that actually sat down with the consultation. That's a problem, right? So now you got to inspect your leads. You got to figure out what can you do to change, right? To make sure that both decision makers are going to be there. They can't demo or close, right? They're not going to be able to demo or close. So a good rule of thumb is when I'm figuring out all decision makers there, in that process, I'm asking them multiple times, multiple different ways. Okay. So if I start off a conversation, I'm like, yeah. So, we're going to be talking to the homeowners. You said 6 o'clock tomorrow is good for you, sir? Okay, perfect. Sweet. That's a good time for you and the missus. Okay, perfect. I'm just grab your name and number. I'll tell you what to expect. I'm gonna make a quick call to my office. Boom, boom, boom. Now I'm telling you what to expect, about the rep and everything. And then from there, I'm gonna say, okay, cool, sweet, man. We're all set up, man. And your name is okay, cool. Your name, da 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 da. And what's the missus' name for greeting purposes? Oh man, she's Cindy. And you said Cindy will be there too? Okay, perfect. Sweet, sweet Cindy there. All right, cool, man. And I'm gonna use that name later on in the conversation. You get what I'm saying? I'm subconsciously putting the frame that the spouse is necessary. They're necessary to be there. Make sense? Any questions here? Any questions? Okay. 1 second. Here we go.
See, I'm reading it from like the paper you gave us. You said the legger is a problem because the specialist cannot sell.
Mm-hmm.
Can't
They can't close.
Cannot close. Okay.
Yeah, they can't close. If they don't have both people there, you want both people there, right? Because the last thing you want is that bad boy to go. Mr. Mike, you got a wife, right? As best you can, when you haven't spent 50,000 or more without your wife at least knowing about it, right? I'm like, if you did, man, hey man, tell me how you did it. Right? But most of the time, if you spend a significant amount of money, your wife she knows something about it, of you discussed it, right? Same exact thing for the homeowner. Guys, when you talk to people, you're basically saying, hey, meet me for the first time, buy a car. Think about that. The average price for a car is more than 10,000, right? So you're basically having people to buy a car, talking with you. So, any questions here? All make sense? All right, cool. Let's do this. All right, so 90 minutes, okay? So this is what the specialist will cover, okay? I have it broad for a reason. I don't want to go into too crazy details, but they're going to show you sample options, okay? The specialists show you whether it's windows, doors, roofings. They'll take measurements throughout the whole entire. They'll tell you about different programs that are available, okay? As they're doing that, they'll discuss financial options, any discounts, and then you'll have your opportunity to make any type of decision you want, whether you want to move forward, whether you want to hold on to the price. You'll have all of that information, okay? So for you, when you're talking to that homeowner, you're making sure they have the time for this. And so as you're telling them what's happening with the representative, telling them we give you 90 minutes, okay? You never want to say it takes 90 minutes. Because if you say you take something, nobody like anybody that's a taker, right? Think about it. During Christmas season, like if someone's giving you something, you love it, right? But when the people are asking for money, you kind of like go through the other entrance and everything, right? Why? Because you don't want to give sometimes. So think about that. The same thing when you subconsciously you telling the person we take 90 minutes, that person's like, ah man. And you never want to say that on the front of the conversation. Okay? So what are y'all doing, man? We just out here getting quotes, man. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna take about 90 minutes. We can get you taken care of. And there, whoa, that sounds crazy. So what you want to do is, hey, tomorrow when the rep comes out, they're gonna bring some samples. They're gonna answer your questions. They're gonna sit down with you, take measurements, all of that information, discuss some of those different programs, financial options, warranties, everything. They're gonna go over permitting, everything. They're gonna go over. Usually, we give you guys 90 minutes to answer all that information. So if we show up, Mr. Vlad at 6, we're gonna roughly wrap up by 7:30. That's good for you guys' time. Okay, perfect. So you get what I'm saying? You're gonna ask that person, hey, you're gonna tell them this is what's gonna happen. Okay. Now, when you say I like to give them the full scope of it, because as I gave you guys the full scope, could you picture it in your mind? Could you literally raise your hand if you could picture that whole process in your mind? The rep's gonna, yeah, you could, right? So for that homeowner, now you're taking the worry out of tomorrow because you just gave them a picture of what tomorrow looks like. In fact, let's do a quick little exercise. Close your eyes really quick. Vlad, not too long. So your eyes are closed, right? You're gonna welcome the sales reps into your house, right? You're gonna say hey to them. You're gonna greet them. You're gonna go to the kitchen, right? Maybe that's where you hang out with everybody. And then they're gonna start to show you some different samples. We have everything from the Mercedes. You see that Mercedes logo, all the way down to the Toyotas. You see that little Toyota logo, right? So we're gonna show you the different trimmings of the windows. We're gonna show you everything. Then we're gonna take measurements. So we'll walk around the house. We'll measure the front door. We'll measure the back door. We'll measure some of the side doors, right? We'll measure all of those things. Then from there, we're gonna sit down with you and then show you about the different financial options that are available, right? There's some cash, there's some debit, right? Only thing we don't do is dog labor. You see the little dog running, right? And we don't do child labor, right? Definitely ain't doing that. Right now I'm doing it, but it's okay. And then child labor, and then pesky iguanas. If you got pesky iguana, we'll put them bad boys to work. Can you see the little iguana just running around, right? And then I say all of that to say, can you see that in your head? Now open your eyes. You saw all of that, right?
I did.
So it's not now for that homeowner, you made it easier. That's it. And that's all you want to do. You want to bridge the gap. Because if they can see tomorrow, now they have more confidence into whatever it is that you're trying to do with them. Make sense? And everything that you do lines up with what you say. Now you're even more trustworthy. Make sense? Cool. Any questions there? That all makes sense? Good? All right, perfect. If they see tomorrow, they're not as worried. There's no questions about tomorrow.
I say like
That's right. It's on your left side.
okay.
There.
I bet for like the Spanish homeowner whose English is not as well as mine, but they understand when I'm coming out the door and they know that I'm making an appointment for either window, roofs, or doors, or whatever necessities that they need for their home.
Mhm.
I could say I don't really explain the 90 minutes but I do ask them if they have a spouse and everything like that.
Mhm.
But
So you just learned the words 90 minutos.
90 minutos.
Bueno?
Yeah, bueno.
Okay. Right?
Yeah,
90 minutos. ¿Está
okay.
bien?
Yeah.
Todo estimado 90 minutos.
Okay.
See? And then you do a little dance with it.
Okay. All right.
All right?
I say hour and a half.
That's fine too.
Hour and a half.
Now, for some homeowners, that might scare them off. Okay? You want to think about that too. Because you have that homeowner that's, let's say, in Coral Springs or something like that, where they're like, hey, what are you doing at my door? Why are you here? Right? You tell them an hour and a half. And, ooh, hour and a half just seems long. 90 minutes, I'll let you do the math. Nobody like doing math anyway. No, don't say free 30-minute consultation. Nah, you're going to get bad reviews, man. Don't do that. All right? So here's just a quick little example. So when they come out, they'll go over the samples, pretty much everything that I said here. Okay? Good here? All right, perfect. So, smoke signals. Let's cover this really quick. Okay? Good. All right. So, smoke signals. What they say and what they say and what does it mean? Okay? I'm not interested. Sometimes what that really means is I don't trust you. Right? They don't trust you. I'm protecting my time. Okay? Your move. Don't explain, re-anchor, soften, and then get one more question in. Okay? So when that person's like, no, I'm not interested, right? So they're trying to protect themselves. They're guarded for some reason. Okay? So what you got to do is don't get just as anxious as they are in that moment. They tell you, no, I'm not interested. Oh, no, it's okay. But no, don't do that. Okay? So they're saying, hey, I don't trust you. I don't know you like that. Okay? So sometimes reading the body language, if they have the door half open, right, and they tell you, hey, not interested, right? Like, okay, cool, sweet. Hey, real quick, who else came by? People like to talk about bad things, right? How many people you know talk about the news all day, right? People talk about the news all day. Like, bro, you ain't doing nothing with it. So for that homeowner, okay, who came out? Why you feel that way? Well, man, last time somebody came out, man, they quoted me a ridiculous price, man, for windows, man. It made no doggone sense. Oh, snap, somebody what did they quote you? Man, I'm gonna tell you, man, they quote me doggone $20,000 for 3 windows. Goodness gracious, $20,000 for 3 windows? Man, what's wrong? What's going on with the windows? I know you need to change them. And now you start to talk about what's going on with the window. Does that make sense? All right, cool. So we already have some. We already have someone. Okay, cool. I don't want you to feel like you're gonna be. I don't want to feel like I'm gonna be disloyal. Okay. So then I'm gonna ask questions. I'm gonna poke hole. Okay, cool. Who you got then? Is it family friend? Yeah, it's family friend. Is it family? Yeah, it's family. You know how it is with family. I've had family do some work for me, and we don't even eat Thanksgiving dinner no more. Right? So figure out who they are and then slightly poke holes. Don't poke holes by being accusatory. Like if it's another company, oh, we got someone, we're going with another company. Oh man, that company bad, man. They don't do that. Does that make you look any better? That don't make you look any better. So you always want to make sure that when you say something like that, when you ask it, you want to change it up. Okay. Figure out what it is, why they said, they're not interested. And don't speak bad about them, but you'll put a comparisons in their head. Like if they say, oh, this company wanted me to pay everything up front, they wanted me to do a down payment right then and there. Um, they didn't give me options, they didn't give me any samples. Okay, wow, I'm sorry to hear that. One of the things that they send us out because what has happened to you has happened to a lot of homeowners. When we come out, we actually sit down with you. We'll show you samples. We'll take measurements. We'll answer questions. And then we have financial options that are available so you don't have to pay anything right now. So you can do it in the future. Or as they say, poco poco, right? So now that homeowner is like, do you see how you're making the comparisons between the other company? Right? And then you're telling them their experience is valid. That has happened to a lot of people in this area, which is the reason why I'm here.
Can you repeat that, bitch?
Okay. So, 1 second. I'm going to let you play the homeowner. Okay. Cool. So, sir, you said someone has came out before.
Yes, someone already gave me a quote.
Did they quote you like a ridiculous price?
Yeah.
Okay. That's the exact reason why we're here. Because what has happened to you has happened to a lot of homeowners in this area. What we're doing and the reason why they sent us out, when we come out, we actually are a family oriented company. We fight very hard to keep our prices low. So we're going to show you samples. You get to choose what it is you like. Um, from that, you get to make everything customized to your home. We have everything from the Mercedes to the Toyotas, right? So those are some of the reasons why people have sent us out. But for you specifically, I think it'd be great to at least see what we can do. We're going to be here all day tomorrow, 10 a.m., 2 p.m., 6 p.m. What's a good time for you? And you go from there. Make sense? So a lot of times you want to appease to what they say. But here it is. Going back to the top, right? Two. First, validate, reframe, right? As a comparison to an opportunity. So you're going to reframe what it is that you heard them say, put it in a way to they see a new lens, and then you give them something new. Okay? So it's validate first. Yeah, I heard you. Oh, wow, that's crazy. That happened to you? Because now that person feels felt. If you quickly hit them with, oh man, somebody gave me a crazy quote. Oh man, we won't give you a crazy quote. You already stepped into the same lane as being like everybody else. Does that make sense? Okay. Next, just leave me a flyer. Ooh, we've gotten that one before, right? Just leave me a flyer. Okay. What they means is I don't want the conversation right now. Okay. Agree with them. Okay, cool. Sweet. I'll leave you a flyer. No problem at all. And at least I like to put my names on the flyers before I pass it to people. I like to put their name on it so it personalized to them. And you say your name again was? And then I grab their name. Okay. And then from there, I say, okay, cool, sweet. And you're probably thinking about this project down the road, right? Yeah. How far down the road? Not right now, not right now. Okay, most people are more free on Saturdays or Sunday. Would that work better for you? Yeah. Saturday will be better. Okay, well, let's do this then. Let me put you free more around 10 to 10 a.m. Okay, cool, perfect. I'm gonna put 10 a.m. and you say your name again was Ashley. Okay, I'm gonna grab your name, boo. Hey, what's gonna happen? We're gonna call you on Friday to see if the time is still good for you. If 10 a.m. is still good for you, we're gonna go over a couple of questions. We're gonna verify the address and we're gonna make sure that the time is good too. We show up at 10, we roughly wrap up by 11:30. Sounds fair? Yeah, we'll bring all the samples and answer all of your questions. Right? Ladies and gentlemen, I just stole that lead. Because there's a general interest, right? There's a time, and now I put another one in the toolbox. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm not going to fill all of my leads. All of my leads can't be like that, but 1 or 2 of those throughout the course of the week, those can turn into a next day. Mm-hmm. Yes, you agree with the homeowner, right? Why? You agree because the moment I start to disagree, I become combative, and they put up a wall. That wall separates you from hearing anything that I'm saying. They're shut down, right? And it's just like kids. When there are high emotions, there's low logic, right? There's low logic. You try arguing with the toddler why they can't have the candy, and try to tell them their teeth gonna rot out, right? It ain't gonna work. But when there's high logic, there's low emotion. So that's how you can get to some homeowners, and it's like this makes sense. Duh. You don't have to give me the whole. I had a guy before when I tried to build a rapport with him. He's like, "Hey man, you don't have to do all that. I want to get the windows. Okay, it makes sense. That's what I want to do." And I was like, how long you live? Hey, you don't have to do all that.
Everyone's had that customer.
Right? They had that customer. That's fine. They sold.
That's a lay down.
That's a lay down. I like it. So, but that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna agree, and then ask one more soft question. All right, and then win them over that way. Okay. I need to talk to my spouse. We went through this a little bit earlier. Every husband and wife have conversations. There's no way you're gonna be in the same house with a husband and a wife. I mean, it is possible, but most of the time, y'all talk about stuff that needs to take place in the house. Am I right? You right? Yeah, even with the kids, right? We talk about stuff in the house. You don't just spring up. You know what? I've never talked to my husband about these windows. No matter how many hurricanes we put up shutters, I never talked to him about it. But I'll take a quote. Man, y'all done talk. Don't come to me with that foolishness. And you know what I'll do sometimes to have fun? I'll call him out on it. Come on now, y'all talk. They call it pillow talk for a reason, right? Y'all talk. Y'all sat down and talked about it, right? So we're gonna talk about it. So what they might be saying is, I might be interested, but I can't decide alone, right? So I might be interested, but I just want to say I got to talk to my spouse, because if I say that, that usually gets rid of you people. Because most people that come to the door, they don't ask another question. They take the first no as an absolute. So one thing is big is get good at asking another question, but don't ask, but change your framing, how you ask it sometimes, to where it sounds different. Does that make sense? So if you tell me no, and I'm not asking you why not in the same tone. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So not right now is basically what you're saying. You want to do something like this a little bit more down the road, or talking to your spouse. You probably usually you guys make decisions together, right? Yeah. You guys are usually probably here. Usually what together when on Saturdays, or tomorrow he'll be here. Well, let's do this. Usually we book up fast in this area. Let's go ahead and set the consultation for tomorrow at 6. Will your husband be home at 6? Yeah. So you guys will usually be here tomorrow at 6. Let's get the information. You see what you're already qualified for. If you like the numbers, you can move forward. If it doesn't work out, you don't have to move forward. But at least you have everything that you need. How does that sound? Yeah, that sounds pretty good. So I have 10 a.m., 2 p.m., 6 p.m. What's a good time for you? And don't say nothing else. Okay? Because the next person who speaks loses. Okay? So your move, is this good? That means the interest exists, and lock in the time for both. Okay? Because I want to slowly guide them to making that decision. I can't be too quick on it. If I'm too quick on it, they're gonna feel off put. They're gonna feel rushed. And then that's how my results get bad. Okay? Any questions on this page here?
No.
No? Okay. Okay, no problem.
So we already have someone who's basically just
You got the mic there. You got the mic. So
oh
yeah.
so saying you so when you say we already have someone, what do you immediately go back into?
So when they say here they already got someone, okay, they mean is I don't want to feel like I'm disloyal. Okay, so you got someone. So who is it that's planning on doing the work? Just have a conversation. Your cousin. Okay, if it's your cousin, how long he's been planning on doing the work? And then you break it down from there. Because if they let's say they have a cousin or they have someone, and it's not a company like ours, and it's like a family member, you break it down. They say their neighbor is going to help them. Ask them if they like their neighbor. Like really get honest. You like your neighbor? Yeah. What type of warranty is your neighbor going to give you? You just going to be able to knock on this door and say, "Hey, the window ain't working." Chances are you might not. So I want to poke holes in it, but have fun with them. Right? I don't want to be too, man, you know you can't trust your neighbors, man. Da, da, da. You don't want to do that. Don't do that. Oh, okay. So if a person said they're going to do it by themselves, so okay, look at the person. If a person tells you they're going to do it by themselves, literally look at them, right? Figure out their age, figure out their strength level by looking at them and say, hey, let's be honest. Do you do this work for a living? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Last thing you want to do is come home and have to put in windows. Am I right or am I wrong? Yeah, you right. Man, but I'll do it though to save me some money. Yeah, you'll save some money, but really, you really save. Here's what I've seen a lot of people in your situation do. Most people who are GCs themselves, they want the work done as good as them, or if not, better. Wouldn't you agree? Yeah, yeah. If somebody's gonna do it, they better be able to do it better than me. Well, that's where we come in. If we can do it just as good as you, and we save you the time, if you're a GC, you can get more business, right? To pay for the work. You can save on your homeowner's insurance, your energy bill, because you know the benefits. In addition to that, you don't have to do the work when you get home. You got more time to spend with the lady. So what are we really talking about here? Oh, that makes a little sense. And then we work on it from there. Okay? Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit the next one. All right. So where the three pillars live in the I.S.M.A.L. All right. So intro, we already know we're building rapport, right? You reveal your question, your purpose. You know, you haven't revealed your question or your purpose yet. You're smiling. Hey, good afternoon. How you doing? Right. Then your short story, your interest. That's pillar number one. You're kind of gauging it. Hey, we're just here talking to the homeowners, and then you're reading the body language in the face. Make sense? You're reading their face in that. Then in your message, okay, you're identifying the products. You know, we're helping some of your neighbors with the roof, helping them change out the windows and doors, getting them some new information, some new programs, new incentives, whatever you want to use in that area, okay? And we'll do a whole training on this, a whole what's the name on this, but right now that's not what we're doing, okay? And then you listen for the different phrases or the signals, right? I thought about that. How much does something like that cost? You know, how long y'all gonna be here again? Okay. And then you ask. Pillar 2 to 3. Okay. You want to lock here. This is where you lock in. You confirm the decision makers. You confirm the time. Okay. All of this, you're building up the little interest. Your pillar 1. Okay. Having a general interest. Here, you're locking in the time. And then from here at the end, the L is you're leaving. Okay. Um, you reinforce the lead by leaving the flyer. You confirm the date, time, and all the names that will be present. Okay. Oh, so you and your wife will be here, da 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 da, and that's when you're leaving. And you're leaving that on a high note. Okay. You're leaving on a high note. Yes, talk to me.